For decades now, the Mercedes-Benz S-Class has been the poster child of luxury and opulence when it comes to the world of automobiles. What we have with us here today is the newest version of the S-Class. It's a facelift, and while it might not look much different from its predecessor, there's a lot that has changed underneath the skin. So this version has a hell of a job to live up to in terms of expectations set by its predecessor. Does it do the job? Can it live up to it? That's what we're going to find out on the show today. So let's start off with the design of the new S-Class, and let's start off with the headlamps. Now what you get is a full LED headlamp cluster, and as you can see, you've got these three vertical strips running here. Now this is a signature mark of the hierarchy within the Mercedes-Benz family. So it's the S-Class, it gets 3 stripes. If you look at the E-Class, it'll have 2. The C-Class just gets 1. So that's the way of Mercedes-Benz to showcase the hierarchy within the family. Apart from that, what you have is a redesigned grille, and the black shield that you see here, the covered part, this is actually a shield for all the sensors that are tucked away behind this part, and those help the ADAS system, that's the Advanced Driver Assistance Systems, which we will talk about in a short while. Now, moving to the side of the new Mercedes-Benz S-Class, one of the first things you will notice is there's not much of a change in terms of the silhouette of the car, and the reason for that is that there's a panel, the sheet metal, it's largely unchanged. You have a new alloy wheel here which looks good, but it looks a little undersized, and that takes away a bit of the overall design, a bit of the overall imposing road stance away from the car. Towards the rear, you've got these full LED tail lamps. It's got this new jewel effect. Again, looks brilliant when you look at it in the dark especially. S-Class has always been known for great interiors, and the new facelift model just takes the story further. Now when you talk about the front seat experience, well, the dashboard has got this beautiful dual color effect with this chocolate and the light beige color. It really gives you a sense of space, so that's a good thing. The material quality, again, if you look at the top of the dashboard, the leather here, the wood quality, and the leather all around, the buttons, the controls, everything is top notch. Apart from that, the highlight of this cabin, especially the dashboard, is this large one-piece screen. Now it's not a touch screen, but it's a high definition screen, and being a single unit instead of the dual units that we're used to seeing, one in top of the center console and one for the instrument cluster, the single one just sets itself apart. The display is really clear. So on the left side, you get your traditional information regarding your vehicle, your connectivity options, everything. The instrument cluster, again, it's a digital unit. So it comes with 3 options wherein you can customize it to be in either a sports mode, a classic, or a progressive mode, wherein the display changes completely, as does the information shown to you. In terms of connectivity, well, the infotainment system offers Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, which is a good thing and is wanted by most consumers these days. Beyond that, you also get your regular Bluetooth, aux, USB connectivity. In terms of convenience, well, the cabin is littered with convenience features. I'll just name a few of them. Now, one of the nice features is in the center armrest, you've got a slot wherein you have a place for wireless charging. So if your phone supports wireless charging, you can just keep it there and it gets charged. And if you look at the music system, it's a Burmester system with 13 speakers. The sound quality is fantastic. So if you are an audiophile, you're going to have a great time in this car listening to your favorite track. Now, advanced driver assistance systems are gaining popularity rapidly all over the world. And in India also, we have now had a lot of new cars coming in with such features. Now, the Mercedes-Benz S-Class also comes with new ADAS functions, and these include automatic brake assist. So if you're not attentive and the car senses that there's going to be an imminent collision, it will apply the brake itself. You also have a lane departure warning. So if you're veering away from the lane, you get a warning, the steering vibrates, it reminds you that you're veering off your lane. There's also a blind spot detection system. So if there's some objects, if there's some two-wheeler or a small vehicle in the blind spot, it will detect the moment you try and change directions. The most interesting system here is the adaptive cruise assist. Now what you do in it is you simply engage the cruise control, set what distance you want to maintain from the vehicle ahead, and it will automatically accelerate or deaccelerate based on the vehicle in front, the speed of it. It will also maintain the lane, so it can steer itself outside a lane into a lane depending on the lane marking as well as the vehicle ahead. Now the best place in the S-Class to be is at the rear seat, and well, it's a fantastic place to be in. There's hardly anything you can complain of. If you talk about space, well, it doesn't matter. I don't really need to tell you what my height is and whether the driver's seat is adjusted to my driving preference or not. It just doesn't matter. Irrespective of your height, you will have loads of leg room, headroom again, no problem at all. And this is when I have the seat in its most forward position. I can easily recline this, so it goes back, and I can also recline the rear. So this is the maximum comfortable position which you can get in an S-Class, and this is nothing short of being in a business class seat of a modern jetliner. Now the seats themselves, well, they're pretty much spot on. The under thigh support, the back support, the angle, the shoulder support, all of it is brilliant. You've got this armrest here, and there are a few new nifty touches that Mercedes-Benz has added. You've got these cup holders here which you press and the cover just comes up. So essentially what you will have is a neat looking center armrest when you're not using them. You can push them to use them back. You've also got a wireless charging slot at the rear as well. So you have one at the front under the front armrest, and there's one here. So again, you can charge your phone provided it supports wireless charging. You've got some space here to probably place your wallet or some other stuff, and you've got access to a lot more space. You can see how deep my hand goes to place in some more things here. Another good thing about the cabin is this remote that you get here. You can use this to command the infotainment system at the front, or you can use them to command any of these screens. Now the best part about using this screen is you've got these various massaging options wherein you can select one of them, just activate, and you can enjoy a soothing massage after having a busy day in your office. So overall, from an in-cabin experience perspective, well, if you compare the S-Class to the updated BMW 7 Series or the new A8, which still hasn't made its way into India, well, this one has got a much more traditional design. Those two are more modern, digital, but this one is more traditional. This one looks more royal. Overall, in terms of space, in terms of comfort, in terms of convenience, and especially the rear seat experience, I think this is the best in this segment right now. I had the chance of driving the new BMW 7 Series a short time back, and while it is a more engaging car to drive, in terms of the rear seat experience, in terms of comfort, trust me, the S-Class has set a new benchmark. Alright, so now let's talk about the performance of the new S-Class. So the new S-Class is powered by two brand new engines. That's the reason why I told you in the beginning of the video that there's a lot of change underneath the skin. So what you can opt for is a 3-liter V6 petrol motor or a brand new 3-liter inline 6-cylinder diesel engine, which is the one that I'm driving right now. Now, traditionally, if you look at the last generation and the few years, the S-Class has had a V6 diesel engine, and for this facelift they've moved away from that to a brand new inline 6, and the reason for that is the packaging overall is much better when you talk about the space integration within the hood, and this layout is claimed to be better suited to electrification and hybridization of the powertrain. If I talk about this engine in particular, well, it develops a healthy 286 horsepower and 600 Newton meters of torque, as a result of which we're never short of power anywhere on the road, on the highway or the expressway. Just a slight dab on the throttle and the S-Class just flies. Now the engine is mated to a 9-speed automatic transmission, and the transmission does its job fairly well. It complements the character of the S-Class very nicely, and it shifts at a reasonable speed. And if you want to go a little bit quicker, well, you always have the option of using the pedals behind the steering wheel. Now, one benefit of the 9-speed transmission is it enhances fuel efficiency. So even when you're cruising at about 100 kilometers an hour, the engine is buzzing away at just about 1200 RPM. And that results in a significant amount of saving, especially on the highway. So while the powertrain offers really nice drivability, it's got an impressive amount of power. But the other highlight of the S-Class, the powertrain, is its refinement. This diesel engine, it really doesn't sound like a diesel. There's hardly any sound that enters the cabin, even when you're gunning it. Now, while we told you how comfortable the rear seat of the S-Class is, the other important fact for any car to be comfortable is ride quality. And the S-Class just aces this department. The ride quality is really nice. It's a very cushioned ride quality. It almost feels like you're driving on a layer of cream. Almost no undulations on the road filter through. And it's a bit of a shame that Mercedes did not bring in the magic ride control technology for its suspension, wherein through using a camera, the sensors can identify an undulation ahead and adjust the suspension automatically. However, despite that, you won't really have any reasons to complain, because what you get is an air suspension, and which I told you does its job really nice. And if you talk about handling, well, in terms of straight line speed, at high speed, there's no problem at all. Even if you're in comfort mode, if you want to go a little faster around corners, well, you can always change the mode and you can get into sports mode. That improves handling a bit. It stiffens up the suspension, the steering, the throttle response again becomes sharper. But you also need to keep in mind that the S-Class is not a driver-oriented car. It's primarily aimed at being a comfortable car. So from that aspect, yes, it drives well, but it does have some body roll. So if you're trying to push her really hard over corners, you will notice body roll even if you are in the sports mode. Now, beyond the impressive performance and refinement of this engine, the other key point to talk about is the fact that this is India's first BS6 ready engine, and it complies with BS6 emission norms on BS4 fuel, which is currently available in the country. So how does it do it? Well, a host of refinements in the engine, right from the piston to the cylinder, the friction reduction, all of that. Along with that, you have this AdBlue. So you have this diesel tank and you have a separate tank for the AdBlue. Now what the AdBlue solution is, it's a urea based solution, and what it does is it simply reacts with the exhaust gases, and in the process it cuts down on the harmful emissions, especially the NOx. Now one needs to keep in mind that the AdBlue tank always needs to be full for the system to work efficiently. If it runs out, well, the car will come to a halt. You don't need to manually go ahead and fill it. So every time your car goes for a service, around that time, if it needs a top-up, it will be done by Mercedes-Benz. So the day of driving the new Mercedes-Benz S-Class has come to an end for us, and it's time to say goodbye to the car in a short while. But before we do that, it's time to sum up the overall experience. Well, the new S-Class has grown a lot in almost every department. On the outside, it might not suggest so. There are subtle changes on the outside in terms of design, but when you look at the interiors, when you look at the powertrain, all of that has been given a massive makeover. Brand new engines, an efficient gearbox, first car to be BS6 ready on BS4 fuel, a great cabin, brilliant features overall. If you look in comfort, in terms of connectivity, and it's got improved ADAS system too, which might not be the best in the market, but then again, it's a start. If you talk about the rear seat, which is the most important area for the S-Class, well, I personally think that the Mercedes-Benz S-Class rear seat is the best in its segment right now. As of now, it's way ahead of the other two Germans, and the overall driving experience too isn't bad. It's a great car to drive. It packs in a punchy performance. So in the end, the question remains, how much do you need to pay for getting this brilliant package? Well, the diesel one that we've been driving today can be yours for rupees 1.33 crore ex-showroom Delhi, and the petrol one slightly higher at 1.37 crores, again ex-showroom Delhi. For the price, it's a brilliant car. Mercedes-Benz has claimed for years it's the best car in the world. We have no reasons to disagree. I will go on to say again, as far as the rear seat is concerned, it probably is one of the best in the world. If you like the video, please hit that subscribe button and share it as well, and like it. For anything else from the world of wheels, please log on to www.expressdrives.com. Till the next time we meet again, please drive safe, obey all traffic rules, wear your seat belt and a helmet when riding a two-wheeler.